Before the world awakens to the flashing lights of sirens and the rhythmic throb of helicopters circling above, before the flag unfurls and a single speech is spoken, a silent machine is already at work, an unseen fortress constructed around a single individual. These are not kings of old, guarded by palace gates and ancient stone walls. These are modern sovereigns, commanders-in-chief, holding not just the reins of nations, but the triggers of nuclear power, global economies, and shifting alliances. And with that power comes vulnerability, and with vulnerability comes the most sophisticated, relentless, and unyielding security ever devised by humankind. This is the story of the 5 most protected presidents on Earth. Their safety is an obsession. Their movements are orchestrated with the precision of a military ballet. Their lives are encased in layers of technology, human vigilance, and terrifying force. And behind each of them is a country willing to spend millions, sometimes billions, to ensure one truth: the head must never fall. The President of the United States wakes before dawn. His movements are not spontaneous. They are plotted on classified timetables, weeks in advance. But still, every morning is different. The route to the Oval Office may change. The agents guarding his door may rotate. Even the helicopters that lift from the White House lawn may be decoys. Known as the most protected individual in the world, the U.S., President lives inside a 24/7 security bubble that stretches across land, air, sea, and cyberspace. At the center of that bubble is the United States Secret Service, founded in 1865 to combat counterfeit currency, but now one of the most elite protective organizations on the planet. Over 7,000 agents operate globally, but only a select few make it into the Presidential Protective Division, each sworn to take a bullet without hesitation. But bullets are only one threat: cyber attacks, chemical weapons, long-range sniper rifles, weaponized drones, insider plots. The range of possible dangers is nearly infinite. And so is the preparedness. At any given time, at least 100 agents are assigned directly to protect the president. Some walk beside him, others blend into crowds in disguise. Some are perched on rooftops in nearby buildings with scoped rifles, while still more monitor drones and satellites from underground bunkers. Then there's the beast, the presidential limousine that moves like a tank and protects like a bunker. It weighs over 20,000 pounds, has 8-inch thick armor plating, bulletproof tires reinforced with Kevlar, a sealed interior with its own oxygen supply, and even bags of the president's blood type in the trunk. Every motorcade includes more than 40 vehicles, including decoys, electronic countermeasure vans, ambulance units, and communications teams. Helicopters from Marine One patrol from the sky, while roads are blocked off miles ahead by coordination with local police and military. But the most chilling layer of protection doesn't walk or drive, it watches. The Secret Service's Technical Security Division employs cutting-edge facial recognition, behavioral analytics, and real-time threat monitoring. In the Washington Control Center, analysts monitor social media, online forums, and video feeds from around the world, looking for any whisper, any anomaly, any pattern that could signal an attack. If the president travels abroad, the process becomes even more complex. Entire hotels are rented and swept, backup aircraft are flown in, portable radar systems and electronic jamming units are deployed. If the host country lacks sufficient capacity, U.S. military personnel are quietly brought in. One former agent revealed that when President Obama visited a foreign country, over 800 people were involved in the operation, including snipers, logistics personnel, counter-assault teams, and even scuba divers checking underwater areas near venues. Yet, perhaps the most haunting detail is what remains unseen. Beneath the White House lies a secret world, a reinforced underground bunker known as the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, PEOC. Built during World War II, but now upgraded with biometric access, redundant communication lines, food and water stores, and radiation shielding. It is the place the president would go during a nuclear attack, coordinated via a satellite-linked nuclear football that never leaves the side of a military aid. Even in public, the president is never truly public. Hidden earpieces whisper updates. Hidden cameras scan faces. Hidden agents scan body language. And at the heart of it all is a man carrying not just a nation's fate, but an invisible army. Thousands of miles away, inside the Kremlin's crimson walls, Another leader sits atop a fortress of steel and secrecy, President Vladimir Putin. But unlike the American system, which thrives on institutional transparency, Putin's protection is woven into a tapestry of mystique and myth. Little is confirmed, much is rumored. All is intimidating. Officially, his protection is handled by the Federal Protective Service, FSO, a direct descendant of the KGB's 7th Directorate. The exact number of personnel is classified, but estimates place the FSO's strength at around 50,000 men, though only a fraction serve in close proximity to the president. The agency has its own university, its own intelligence gathering wing, and even the authority to override local law enforcement if required. Putin's motorcade is a war formation. Leading the pack are advanced sweep teams in armored SUVs, followed by communications, trucks, decoy vehicles, a mobile command center, and a medical van. The centerpiece is the Oris Senat presidential limousine, a Russian-made armored beast, said to be able to withstand bullets, explosives, and even chemical attacks. The airspace over any venue Putin attends is shut down. Snipers line rooftops. Drones are scrambled to neutralize threats. In some cases, electronic warfare units jam enemy signals within a 5-kilometer radius. His bodyguards, trained at the highest level of Russian special forces, form a physical wall. They're not just muscle, they're tacticians, linguists, firearms experts, and martial artists. What makes Putin's security unique is the paranoia-fueled unpredictability. His schedule is rarely published. When he travels by car, a secondary convoy is often launched simultaneously in the opposite direction. Some believe he even uses body doubles to appear in public events, though this remains unconfirmed. On rare foreign visits, Russian security personnel arrive weeks in advance. They plant devices, sweep rooms, tap local communications. Hotel floors are locked down entirely. And in some reports, entire suites are retrofitted with bulletproof walls brought from Moscow. His private residences, especially the rumored Black Sea Palace, are ringed with fences, surveillance towers, drone jammers, and private security forces. Some suggest he sleeps in different bedrooms each night, even within the same compound. But Putin's greatest shield is not armor, it's fear. Dissidents vanish. Journalists who inquire too deeply are silenced. Enemies are poisoned with substances so rare and terrifying that they send shockwaves across the globe. The message is clear: threat Putin and face annihilation. In Beijing, where tradition meets surveillance in a hypermodern matrix, President Xi Jinping is protected not only by men with guns, but by an omniscient state apparatus that knows everything before it happens. Xi's personal security is overseen by the Central Security Bureau, CSB, an elite force within the People's Liberation Army, PLA. While its numbers are kept secret, the CSB is considered the Chinese equivalent of the US Secret Service, except with far more reach into civilian life. China's Great Firewall doesn't just block websites. It also tracks dissent. If someone posts even a veiled threat against Xi, automated systems flag the content. Police may arrive within minutes. Surveillance cameras over 600 million nationwide feed real-time facial recognition data into a centralized system. Every visitor to a city, every ride in a taxi, every pass through a metro station becomes a data point in a massive predictive security grid. Xi's residences are guarded by concentric rings of military units, cameras, patrols, and biometric access points. His convoy, led by armored Hongqi N 701 limousines, includes dozens of vehicles with jamming equipment, communications relays, and ambulances. Air defenses track all nearby flight paths. Police clear entire zones. Xi's movements are a state secret, only released after the event. Even foreign dignitaries often don't know where they'll meet him until the final hour. Inside China, where national security laws allow near-total surveillance, Xi's protection is an extension of the state itself. Citizens are surveilled not only to protect him, but to protect the appearance of stability that sustains his power. North Korea is a fortress unto itself, and its supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, is protected not just as a man, but as a god figure in the eyes of his regime. In a country of informants, forced loyalty, and engineered paranoia, Kim's security force is nothing short of a small army. At the top sits the Supreme Guard Command, reportedly over 100. 000 strong tasked solely with protecting the great leader. But the most elite unit within this is Unit 963, the inner circle of personal guards, trained in counter-sniping, close combat, and human shielding. Kim's convoys are legendary for their scale and absurdity. On one foreign trip to Vietnam, he arrived in a green bulletproof train accompanied by armored limousines flown in separately. His Mercedes-Benz Pullman guard car was flanked by 12 jogging bodyguards in perfect synchrony, forming a human shell. These men are handpicked for height, fitness, and loyalty. Whenever Kim appears in public, the entire perimeter is locked down. Air defenses are placed on high alert. All buildings with a view of his route are sealed off. Residents are told to stay indoors. Some streets are repaved to ensure a smooth ride. Even birds are rumored to be cleared from the sky. Kim's palaces are protected by electric fences, minefields, and loyal troops. His movements are kept so secret that even his own people often don't know where he island, and should war break out, he reportedly has dozens of underground bunkers connected by secret tunnels, allowing escape to the Chinese border within hours. Kim's security isn't just about weapons, it's about unpredictability, brutal loyalty enforcement, and the complete isolation of information. In a land where truth itself is controlled, protecting the leader becomes a question of protecting the illusion of immortality. Finally, in the heart of the Middle East, Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, enjoys protection more intense than many presidents. Israel, surrounded by threats and shaped by constant warfare, takes no chances. The Shin Bet VIP Protection Unit, also known as Unit 730, is one of the most battle-tested protective forces on Earth. Every guard is a combat veteran. Every movement is choreographed. And every threat, real or imagined, is treated as a code red. Netanyahu's residences are protected by blast-proof walls, missile defense systems, biometric gates, and rooftop sentries. His convoy travels in reinforced SUVs surrounded by motorcycles and advanced scout vehicles. But what makes his protection unique is the layered approach. Shin Bet coordinates with Mossad, external intelligence, and Amman, military intelligence, giving Israel a triad of defense that monitors everything from Hezbollah plots to lone wolf attackers. His public appearances are swarmed by counter-assault teams, snipers, drones, and anti-drone systems. Events are canceled if anything feels off. In one case, an entire event was evacuated due to an unidentified bird that appeared on surveillance feeds. In times of conflict, the Iron Dome missile defense system is retasked to prioritize areas where the Prime Minister is located. Some reports suggest Netanyahu even has access to a mobile bunker that can be moved by a helicopter in under 30 minutes. Unlike most leaders, Netanyahu has seen war, led military operations, and survived assassination attempts. His life and the life of the Jewish state is treated as one and the same by Israeli security doctrine. From Washington to Pyongyang, from Tel Aviv to Moscow to Beijing, one truth echoes louder than sirens and stronger than walls. Power attracts danger, and danger demands protection that borders on the fanatical. These 5 leaders move through the world encased in layers of armor, shadowed by men ready to die and guarded by nations ready to kill. Yet the question remains, in an age where threats come faster, deadlier, and more unpredictably than ever before, can even the best fortress hold? Or is ultimate protection just another illusion?